it is self-owned crane, salary I will be paying, some fuel charges I will be paying. So that will be obviously there in our indirect expenses, it will be added. So whenever you pay operator salary, we'll say okay, capital work in progress account debit to bank. What will come under attributable expenses? Depreciation of the crane. The depreciation. Say I am using the crane for 3 months for constructing my own building. So 3 months ka depreciation will not be going to my debit side of profit and loss account, but the 3 months depreciation will be added to my capital work in progress. 3 महीने का depreciation मेरा इधर चला जाएगा. Like there is a supervisor. I'm a construction company. So there is a supervisor who looks at all those construction work which are happening. One of the construction work is our own construction of a building. So the salary which I pay to the supervisor will not be debited to my income statement, but that salary will be part of my capital work in progress. It will be added to the cost of construction. That is attributable expenses. Borrowing cost, if IND AS 23 allows, then it will be added. Now when does IND AS 23 allow? We'll learn. Yeah. Cost of demolition, test runs, same present value of cost of dismantling and decommissioning. The same what we learned there will be here. One new item. This has been specifically given under IND AS. So I just completed 3 of them. I hope no questions would be there with respect to this part. Yeah, very simple. Your entries, capital work in progress account debit to bank, capital work in progress account debit to depreciation, whatsoever it may be. Capital work in progress account debit to the provision for losses, whatever, provision for claims. Capital work in progress to depreciation, ma'am. That is okay, na? Yeah. Now, once the asset is over, I will transfer it to actual asset account. Like after 2 years of construction, it gets transferred to machinery. So I'll say machinery account debit to capital work in progress. So that is simple part. Now there is one area which the standard clearly mentions, and that is nothing but if an asset is brought on deferred credit terms. Now what do you mean by deferred credit terms? There is something known as normal credit terms. Like that credit facility is available in normal course of business. I go to a person, a manufacturer of that asset, I say, sir, I want to buy it. He says, sir, 30 days credit, I give it to everybody, which I will be extending it to you also. So that is normal credit term. But I say, no, sir, I don't want 30 days, I want 60 days. He says, okay, I will make it 60 days, but then you have to pay something extra. So the invoice what he is going to make will be including something. What will be included in that invoice? Finance charge. Agar मैं बोलता है I am going to make a payment after 30 days, he says you have to pay 1 lakh. I say no sir, I will make payment after 60 days. He will charge me 1 lakh or more than 1 lakh? More than 1 lakh. He'll say 1 lakh 10,000. So now the invoice is only getting prepared of 1 lakh 10,000. Now if invoice is of 1 lakh 10,000, that 1 lakh 10,000 is referred as deferred credit terms. You are asking for extra credit, deferred credit terms. Now the point comes, the question comes is, what is to be done for that 10,000? As far as IND AS is concerned, we have to segregate it to find out what is the cost of the asset on normal credit terms and what is the cost of the asset based on deferred credit terms. See, 30 days ka credit mila na, that is okay. Don't segregate that part. Only segregate deferred credit terms, extended credit terms. How much extra I have to pay, that has to be segregated. It means I am not going to recognize that asset at 1,10,000, I am going to recognize it at 1 lakh. That 10,000 will be charged off to profit and loss account. But, if IND AS 23 says borrowing cost is to be capitalized because of this, then that 10,000 will also be added. But if IND AS 23 does not permit capitalization of borrowing cost, then that part will not be included. Clear till here all of you? Yeah. माइनस हो जाएगा ना सीधा के सीधा, कॉस्ट ऑफ डिमोलिशन में, नेट कॉस्ट. हाँ, that will be deducted from your cost of demolition, because when you demolish now you get scrap. Like test run. So if there is a test run, what will happen? Some products would be made by you, which would be sold off at a price which is below the normal selling price. हाँ, of course. Any kind of scrap generated from self-construction will always be reduced. There is always that beta. Yeah, it does not go to your income statement. Now coming on to subsequent expenditure. Basic stuff. If any expense is incurred on the particular item of PPE, should it be added to the cost of PPE or should it be charged off to your profit and loss? How to decide? Should it be added to the cost of the PPE or should it be charged off to profit and loss? Let me ask you 2-3 examples. I refurbish a car, the seats are refurbished, तो उस पे नया कॉटन का अपना लेदर कवर और वो सब चढ़ाते हैं, refurbishment. So should it be added to the cost of car? The benches on which you are sitting, I said made of wood, we will have some cushion on it. So some sofa kind of material is added to it. Should it be added to the cost? Yes. I replace a vital part in this projector, the lens and something like that. Should it be added to the cost? This is what we are talking about, a very tricky area. When should that item of expenditure be capitalized and when it should be charged off to profit and loss account? Standard is very simple. It says, I'll just make capitalize when capitalize meets the recognition criteria. It meets the recognition criteria. Should we go? Yeah. Now it meets the recognition criteria. What was your recognition criteria? Do you remember what you have written here? Future economic benefit is going to flow to the enterprise. Now remember, many a time subsequent expenditure is incurred in order to get an economic benefits from the asset at what it is designed. Like you need to do some kind of overhauling of a particular machinery on some regular intervals. AC का सर्विसिंग करता है तुम लोग. So do you think the servicing which you did for your air conditioner is a capital expenditure here? No, because that expenditure is not going to give me future economic benefit. It is compulsory to be incurred so that the asset is able to give that economic benefits for which it is designed. At the time of acquisition only you knew it, that this asset will give me future economic benefits if the maintenance is done. So that expenditure is in the nature of maintenance, renewals and maintenance, which may also warrant replacement of some part. Maintenance includes replacement. Don't think कि सर इसमें से ये एकदम पार्ट निकाल दिया, इसका IC निकाल के दूसरा IC डाला, तो it is capital expenditure. Nothing. It is maintenance. Like your tires are worn out. You're using a car, tires gets worn out. What would you do? You'll replace the tire or not? Is it a capital expenditure? No. It does not give future economic benefits. So any expenditure which enhances the pre-assessed standard of performance of that PPE is only capital expenditure. Any outflow which you have done enhances the pre-assessed standard of performance is a capital expenditure, because then only it will meet the future economic benefit criteria. Replacement of a part does not enhance the pre-assessed standard of performance. It is where it is. I install a CNG in a car, yes, it is going to reduce my cost. A CNG kit is installed. An engine is replaced with a similar kind of engine. Due to heavy rains, the engine got blocked. So I had to install a new engine. Now do you think this new engine is going to give me future economic benefit for which the asset was made of for? No, it does not increase my future economic benefit. It only maintains my future economic benefit. कि सर जिधर ये था ना उधर रहने के लिए भी ये खर्चा करना पड़ेगी. You need to incur this expense for maintaining the economic benefits which the asset is giving. Then we say it is maintenance cost to be expensed off. It meets the recognition criteria, means this expenditure is going to give you some extra benefit. Like if I put a cushion on this benches and all those things, do you think this furniture is going to give me some extra economic benefit? No, not at all. It is where it is. Today 10 kids can sit on this bench. If I put that cushion, do you think 12 can sit? It enhances the capacity? No, it remains where it is. 10 will 10 only. It does not enhance. So there many a times in exam they ask replacement of a vital part. Oh, let it be na. If the replacement of a vital part is in the nature of maintenance, then it is not to be capitalized. Like an engine in a car is a vital part. I had to replace it. Then it is not to be considered as capital expenditure. In this only, one point I just missed out. Whenever you capitalize, a subsequent expenditure is capitalized, the carrying amount of replaced part is to be de-recognized. Like, let me explain. I have a diesel driven engine for my machine. What I do is, now Mahanagar gas comes and it says we will supply you the gas for machine. I say okay, that is better option for me, because now if the machine will work through gas, my cost of production will come down. So I say okay, no issues. So what I have to do? I have to replace my diesel driven engine with a gas driven engine. So if I install a gas driven engine for my machines, is it a capital expenditure to be added to the cost of asset or expensed off to P&L? First of all, tell me. Should it be added? I installed a gas engine, machine चलाने के लिए. My machines are working. Either it works to electricity or diesel machines are required to make them work, or I am going to use some Mahanagar gas, PNG. So I bring Mahanagar gas pipeline. I say, abhi machines will work because of this. So cost of using that machine will go down. Gas is cheaper. So should I capitalize that expenditure? You'll say, yes sir, capitalize it. Your cost is reducing. It is going to give you future economic benefits. Very much correct. But then IND AS says, if you capitalize the cost of a replacement part, means अभी एक मशीन था जो डीजल से चलता था और वो दूसरे सब मशीन को चलाता था, उसकी जगह में एक नया मशीन लेके आता, which is going to work through gas and it is going to make other machines work. So it says this replacement cost is to be capitalized, but the previously carrying amount of the asset which is getting replaced is to be derecognized. Like my all machines, 100 machines, in which the biggest was the generator which was working through diesel. My all machines are working through a generator which is working through diesel. I have carrying amount of all those machines together, in which one of the component is the diesel generator. I replace the diesel generator with the gas generator. So the gas generator cost will be added to my total cost of machines, yes or no? What about the carrying amount of diesel generator? Should it be continued? What is to be done? Derecognize, remove it from your total cost of machine. The cost of that diesel generator will be derecognized. So that is the important part. If meets the recognition criteria, expense of, if it does not meet and very much important, carrying amount of replaced part is derecognized. Means that machine account will be credited with that much amount and P&L will be debited. Now new area, major inspection or overall cost. In case of aviation sector or you can say shipping sector, this major inspection is there. Now what do I mean by major inspection cost? See, there is something known as routine inspection. When you fly, you will always find that when boarding a plane, you always find a person, engineer, inspecting normally, then he gives a certificate somewhere, he signs and he gives it to the pilot. There is nothing but routine inspection. And before the flight takes off, a routine inspection is done. We are not talking about routine inspection which happens. Like if you take properly, every Sunday we have mega block. What is that? A routine inspection what they do. That every Sunday they will just check all the routine inspections. We are talking about some major inspection. Now this major inspection need not always have replacement of any part. But then also the standard says if this major inspection fulfills the recognition criteria, then this cost of inspection is to be capitalized. If major inspection fulfills the recognition criteria, then such cost is to be capitalized. And previously capitalized cost of inspection is to be derecognized. Let me explain you, like I have a ship. Every 5 years I have to compulsory do a big major inspection overhauling. And because of this, there is an economic benefit. Means I am able to avoid some damages to that ship because of this major inspection. The ship remains in a normal working condition because of this. So now the ship will be depreciated in 20 years. if the life of that ship for me is 20 years. Every 5 years, I have to do major inspection cost. So this major inspection cost will be added to the cost of my ship, and this cost will be allocated to the profit and loss account in 5 years. In 5 years, I will be allocating the cost. The cost of the ship will get allocated in 20 years, that the inspection cost will get allocated in 5 years. But I have been allocating the cost first year, second year, third year. Don't say, sir, balance sheet में उसको क्या दिखाएगा? Balance sheet में it will be added to ship only. The amount will be added to ship only. Only at the time of providing depreciation we will segregate. This carrying cost is pertaining to inspection cost. This carrying cost is pertaining to the asset. Say after 3 years, due to some change, we had to again bring the ship for major inspection. Again, there is a cost incurred for major inspection. Instead of after bringing the ship for 5 years, we brought it at the end of second year only or third year. Then what is to be done? Whatever cost you incur for major inspection, that will be added to the cost, and whatever remaining carrying amount of that previous inspection cost which has been capitalized and still not debited to P&L should be derecognized. Very simple. See, it's not necessary every major inspection or overhauling will require replacements. It may not. Not necessary sir replacement होगा ही, होगा तो ठीक है. Then that replacement we have to ask whether that replacement fulfills the subsequent expenditure guideline. If yes, we capitalize. If not, expense of to P&L. Yeah. Now I come upon the next area. Subsequent measurement. See, you learned initial measurement. आवाज कोणाचा आहे? असं काय? Now what was initial measurement? Measuring the asset for the first time. That was our initial measurement. Can I say our initial measurement was always at cost? Always at cost. You are always recognizing the asset at cost. And we brought the asset in 3 ways. What were the 3 ways in which we brought the asset? Cash, exchange or self-construction. That was always at cost. Now subsequent measurement, matlab for the first time you recognize the asset. I brought the asset today. So today when I buy the asset, I bring the asset or construct the asset, I showed the asset in my books at cost. Thereafter, every reporting period, generally reporting period say 31st March, I should disclose this asset at what value? I should carry this asset at what value? That is nothing but subsequent measurement. The standard says either at cost or fair value. Either at cost or fair value. Generally we say revaluation model. Revaluation model. And revaluation means we are going to value the asset, we are going to carry the asset not at its carrying amount less the accumulated depreciation or any kind of impairment loss charged to that asset. We are going to carry the asset at a value which is its fair value. Yeah. Now if it is revaluation model, I'll just make it here. First let me draw a graph for it and explain you, and then you write it down. I said revaluation. Either you are doing it for the first time, and when you follow this revaluation model, IND AS says it has to be applied for the whole class of asset. It cannot be selectively. Whole class, machine, so whole class of machine. Of course, not across all geographical frontiers, but somewhere you are able to identify a particular class. Like we are in this room number, another room number. So it cannot be only room number 2 will be subject to revaluation. No, not. A particular class of asset has to be revalued. So you have to apply it revaluation model on a class of asset, not a single asset. So when I apply this revaluation model, for the first time I go for adopting this revaluation model. So when I am applying this revaluation model for the first time, I have two options. Either the item of PPE goes down, downward revaluation, or the item of PPE goes up, there is upward revaluation. That is the two things which can happen there. Then we learn, we have written subsequent revaluation. Subsequent revaluation means what? You have already revalued your item of PPE and now again you are going for revaluation. So previous revaluation was downward or previous revaluation was upward. In that I can further have a bifurcation that previous it was downward, subsequently either I am downward or I am upward. Same way subsequently again I am downward or upward. Then what is to be done? Like here. If it is downward, can I say my entry will be profit and loss account debit to the asset account? I will just write down the amount only. Say 4 lakhs. Profit and loss to asset. If it is upward, asset account debit to revaluation reserve. Don't say P&L. Revaluation reserve. This increase is recognized in OCI, other comprehensive income. There is something known as IND AS compliance schedule 3. Under IND AS compliance schedule 3, the P&L we divide say P&L and other comprehensive income, and then it is accumulated under equity under the head of revaluation reserve. There is a heading equity के नीचे revaluation reserve लिखेगा अपन लोग. Asset account debit to revaluation reserve. Now, this is what I'll do. Now I go with subsequent wala part. Previous revaluation was downward. It means can I say I would have passed this entry profit and loss account debit to asset 4 and here asset account debit to revaluation reserve. Now previous was downward, again it is downward. Previous was downward, again it is downward. Last time you went down, this time again you say, sir, I have to go down only in order to see to it that the asset is carried at its fair value. The standard says if you are going for a revaluation model, see to it that the item of PP is always carried at its fair value. Yeah. Now again it is downward. So very simple. Profit and loss account debit to asset. See again I am going down by 5. So nothing to worry about. But previously you were downward, now you are upward. Then the standard says to the extent you were downward, to the extent you had debited your P&L, reverse of that, and anything over and above it will be credited to revaluation reserve. So your entry would be asset account debit say 5 to profit and loss 4 to revaluation reserve 1. So if I am increasing it by 3, it will but obvious be asset account debit to revaluation, I am sorry, asset account debit to P&L 3. Now going on to the next part. Previous revaluation was upward. Previous revaluation was upward. Subsequent is either downward or upward. Yeah. Now if it is subsequent is upward, I think that is very simple. What will you say? Asset account debit to revaluation reserve, say 5. I hope clarity is there, na? दिख रहा है ना बरोबर? हाँ. Asset account debit to revaluation reserve 5. But if it is downward, you only tell me the answer. What will if it is downward? Can I say to the extent it was upward, I will reverse of that, and anything over and above it will be debited to my P&L. So my entry would be revaluation reserve 4, profit and loss debit 1 to asset 5. And remember, if this asset is disposed of, the asset which has been revalued upwards, matlab revaluation reserve is there, it is disposed of, then the balance in revaluation reserve account is transferred to retained earnings account, not through P&L. Very much important. Means you need not transfer the balance in your revaluation reserve to your profit and loss account, but it will be transferred to retained earnings. It does not happen through P&L. If it is disposed of, like I had went for an upward revaluation, reserve was there, then I sold it off. So that balance in revaluation reserve will be transferred to retained earnings, but not through profit and loss account. Clear till here? You may just copy this much if you want, or you can just take the pick if you want, whatever you like. Not for you. Let's begin. Say the cost of the asset is 1000. It is revalued at say 1100. It is revalued at 1100. What would be your accounting? What journal entry will you pass? See, accumulated depreciation means the account is there, the asset is now being shown at original cost. My entry would be your accumulated depreciation. I'm sorry, just wait. Is having a credit balance. Something like this was done somewhere. You would have passed an entry like this somewhere, depreciation account debit 300 to accumulated depreciation, something like this would have happened. Now this accumulated depreciation is there. I need to remove of this accumulated depreciation. That's why I just debited there. Okay, this entry would have been passed and then some entry would have been passed like this, P&L account debit to depreciation, say 300. So I am having an accumulated depreciation in my books. So what would be the journal entry that has to be passed in order to give a revaluation of 1100? My entry would be, I just write it here, the asset account debit 100, accumulated depreciation debit 300 to revaluation reserve 400. Means an asset on whom an accumulated depreciation is appearing, in that case your entry is not asset account debit to revaluation reserve, in that case it is accumulated depreciation account debit to revaluation reserve. Should I explain again? No madam, asset is asset is at 1000 only. That is original cost. Asset is at 1000 only, but the accumulated depreciation is having a balance of 300. So now the asset will be shown in the books at what? 1100. Accumulated depreciation 0. Clear? And that important point did you write down? Balance in revaluation reserve, transfer to P&L, na? Where it should be transferred? Retained earnings. If the asset is disposed, after disposal, balance in revaluation reserve, transfer to retained earnings. Very much important. Not through profit and loss. Not through profit and loss, but it will be transferred to retained earnings. We proceed? Okay. So now subsequent measurement is done. We go for depreciation. What is depreciation? Standard says nothing but very simple. Depreciation is, use the proper word, systematic allocation of cost over the useful life of the asset. Depreciation is systematic allocation of cost over the useful life of the asset. Somewhere or the other, maybe you come from CPT mode or even IPC, you would have learned depreciation is decrease in the value of the asset due to change, blah, 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 wear and tear and this and that. Of course not. What was actually means, see, is we are evolving in accounting. It's all evolution which is happening. Something which was not correct have become redundant and have been just removed. And there's nothing but learning subject going on. Learn, unlearn, relearn and all those things. You buy something, if you get economic benefit in this year, you debit it to P&L or not? Because you say debit side of P&L, I have some economic benefit. I paid you salary, I got some economic benefit from you through sales or incomes. The same thing is happening for an PPE also. You use the PPE, you get economic benefits on the credit side. I have a debit, there is nothing but the cost. So if I am going to get the economic benefit in 10 years, the cost goes in 10 years. If I say I am going to get the economic benefit in 2 years, the cost goes in 2 years and so on. That's why you had the word useful life and not economic life. There is a very big difference between these two words. There is one more life, physical life. You don't depreciate the asset based on economic life. You depreciate the asset based on useful life. Now what is economic life? Economic life is the period for which the asset is going to fetch you economic benefits over number of users. I buy a car. I use the car for 4 years, then I sell it to you. He uses it for another 4 years and he is selling it to her. She uses for another 3 years, sell it to her, 2 years. She is going to, बाद में ये बोले सर अभी बिकता ही नहीं है. Because the asset को चलाने का खर्चा is more than the benefit what it is giving. That doesn't mean the asset is stopped. You can still start the car and the car will work. But you will say, sir, the cost of using the car is more than the benefit which the car gives to me. That is the end of economic life of the car. So if you look properly, the economic life was 4 plus 4, 8 plus 3, yeah, 11, how many years you? 2. 13 years is the economic life of the car. We don't depreciate based on the economic life. I am going to depreciate based on the period of which I am going to use, that is useful life. That is nothing but 4 years. He is going to depreciate 4, you are going to depreciate 2 years. So depreciation is systematic allocation of the cost. You are going to allocate the cost over the useful life. So it may be 4, it may be 7, it may be depending on you. How to allocate? So either on straight line method or written down value method or production unit method. Very simple. If the economic benefits, the pattern of economic benefit is constant, the cost should be constant. If the pattern of economic benefit is constant, the cost should also be constant. But if the pattern of economic benefit is higher in the earlier phase and gradually the economic benefits reduces, then I will depreciate based on that way, WDV method. Then production unit method, that is nothing but based on usage. The more the usage, the more is the economic benefit which I derive. Like some assets have been installed with a capacity of number of hours. It can be used only for say 10,000 hours. So after 10,000 hours are over, it's over. So in that case, you don't go with SLM or WDV, you say sir based on production unit method. The number of hours that asset is used, that will be more appropriate. Yeah. So depreciation is systematic allocation of the cost over the useful life of the asset. You can use SLM, WDV, production unit method. My question to you is, can I use combination of two methods? दो मेथड को साथ में यूज करते हैं, थोड़ा WDV थोड़ा ये ऐसा combination. Yes, it happens. Practically it happens. Helicopters. In that I use machine hour rate method as well as WDV method also. So what we do is, see, some cost has to be allocated. If the asset is not used, then also I will allocate some cost. I was not able to use the asset, but the cost has been incurred. Say the asset is of 100 crores. I say as far as 10 crore is concerned, 90 crore is concerned. 90 crore will depreciate based on machine hour rate method, and 10 crores because I want to apply some allocation of cost every year, I will go with WDV method. So the year in which I don't use the asset, then also I allocate some cost, that I was not able to use the asset during this period due to some seasonal problems, but then also some cost will be allocated. I want some cost to be there. So as far as 10 crores are concerned, I will have WDV method. As far as 90 crores is concerned, I will say machine hour rate. The more I use, the more should be depreciation, and so on. Same way, can a single asset be divided into two useful life? Can a single asset be divided into two useful life? Yes. There is something known as component approach. A particular asset may have two useful life, like with respect to aircraft. The aircraft engine and the aircraft body. Both of them are significant in nature. See, don't do it, हाँ? तो तुम बोलेगा सर गाड़ी का टायर अलग लाइफ रहेगा, उसका स्टीयरिंग अलग लाइफ रहेगा. You don't go for that way. A significant part. We are talking of a significant part, which may have an independent use, in sense it can be sold off. That significant part. You cannot disassemble any machinery and say, चलो एक एक part का अलग अलग कर दो, ये screwdriver, ये वो. No, not like that. Don't think in that manner. When I say component approach, a significant component of that particular item. Like if I am having this building, I am having an elevator in this building. Don't you think that elevator is a significant component of this building only? Provided it has not been recognized separately. I have not recognized that elevator separately, then of course it is. So what is to be done? IND AS says you will go with component approach, and when I say I go with component approach, I will identify the life of both the components separately. So the aircraft engine will be depreciated in this many years, the aircraft body will be depreciated in this many years, and all those similar assets can be combined together for the purpose of depreciation. Like all aircraft engines can be combined because they all have similar usage and similar useful life. That is possible. That doesn't mean in the balance sheet I am going to show different two things. That is aircraft only. Only for the purpose of depreciation I can apply component approach. Yeah, that is nothing but different useful life. We go for the last area, it is nothing but our disclosures. Not that much important, but just for the purpose of understanding. What are the measurement basis that is to be disclosed? Like if you are going with revaluation model, on what basis do you arrive at revaluation? What value? What was the independent valuer? What was the point of valuation, upward or downward? That is nothing but your measurement basis. You need to disclose depreciation method. followed by U. The useful life of the asset. Gross carrying amount and accumulated depreciation. Of course, at the beginning and at the end, with reconciliation. Okay, why gross block opening and closing is different. So opening and closing will be due to additions, deductions, some kind of impairment loss charge and all those things. Basics, disclosures, not that much important for exam, for your understanding purposes. Clear till here, all of you? Okay, we can just go and have some glance over the theory notes which we have given. Yeah, you can just ask me some questions with respect to it. Just go through the notes, have a glance. We have covered everything and then we can jump to questions and answers. Should I start with problems? Just have a glance over the notes, means we have covered everything. Just if you find anything difficult, some new point somewhere or the other, just let me know so that I can just help you out here itself. Okay. Yes, ma'am, it's over. Sure. Question number 1. Manufacturers and Traders Limited purchased a conveyor system and the total amount capitalized on 1/1/2014 was for a value of 41.37 crore. The breakup of capital cost, rupee amount being in crores, was as follow: civil and mechanical structure 11.72, driving unit and planning 5.40, rope 2.83, belt 11.17, safety and electrical equipment 6.15, other accessories 4.10. The total cost comes down to 41.37 crores. Yeah, just add up, you will get the way. Then during the financial year 17-18, due to wear and tear, the rope used in the conveyor system was replaced by a new one at a cost of rupees 8 crore. As the new rope did not increase the capacity and its component of the total asset, the company charged the full cost of new rope to repairs and maintenance. Old rope continues to appear in the books of accounts and is charged with depreciation every year. Discuss the correctness of the accounting treatment. Yes. Is this accounting treatment correct? First of all, they capitalize. They capitalize at 41.37. Writing error. And capitalize it.
How can we define significance? Is there any percentage?
No. There is nothing like significance, sir. First of all, this is subsequent expenditure. Do you remember subsequent expenditure? Now, is this subsequent expenditure in the nature of in the nature of repairs and maintenance, or does this subsequent expenditure meet the recognition criteria? Now what was recognition criteria? Very simple. Recognition criteria, two things were there. Kya tha? Future economic benefit are anticipated, will flow to the enterprise, and second was the cost can be reliably measured. I think second is easy, cost can be measured. What is the cost of the new rope? The cost of the new rope is 8 crores. तो वो तो बरोबर है. Future economic benefits? No. It means, first of all, can I say this is not an expenditure which is going to enhance the pre-assessed standard of performance. And the question clearly says, here it is, the new rope did not increase the capacity and its components of the total assets. Means it is where it is. You're just replacing wear and tear, like tire. You're using a car, your tire are one out. So what will you do? You'll bring new tire. If you bring new tire, will you capitalize it? No. If you don't capitalize it, means you will charge it to profit and loss account. If you charge it to profit and loss account, will the old tire which were there in the cost be derecognized? Of course no. They will be carried as they are. Means whatever this person has done is very much accurate there. See, every time it is not necessary कि हम negative answer ही देगा उसको कि उसने जो बोला उसको उल्टा ही answer रहता है. No, very much correct. So first of all, how the answer is to be given? First, you have to write down subsequent expenditure. As per IND AS 16, any subsequent expenditure which meets the recognition criteria will be added to the cost of the asset. This is the first answer. So my answer goes in this way. As per IND AS 16. Then what, I'm just giving you a brief idea, then in exam you have to write down as a whole. IND AS 16, the subsequent expenditure should meet recognition criteria. Now what is recognition criteria na? That you have to define. इसको define करना पड़ेगा. What is the recognition criteria? So future economic benefits will flow to the enterprise. That is nothing but our recognition criteria. Yeah. And second, the cost can be reliably measured. Then once you have written this na, then the second stuff what you have to write down is in the given case or in the given question, manufacturers and traders have replaced the new rope at a cost of 8 crore. See, amount के साथ कोई लेना देना नहीं है. It has nothing to do with the amount, remember. What is the amount paid? That is not important. What is important is whether this expenditure is going to give me future economic benefit or not. So वहाँ पे लिखने का कि he has incurred a cost of 8 crores for replacing a rope. But this does not increase the capacity nor does it add to a component of that asset. Hence, this expenditure is in the nature of maintenance and repairs to be expensed off to profit and loss account. Only if this expenditure would have been capitalized, then the carrying amount of the old rope would have been derecognized. अगर वो लोग लिखता था ना कि नया रोप आने से the conveyor system is working fast. Earlier the speed was some part per minute. Conveyor system I hope you have seen at airport पे रहता है वैसा. There is nothing but conveyor belt. How we get our luggage on the airport. That conveyor system. So it is moving at some speed. After this new rope, it moves at double speed. Then what will be your answer? Can I say then add it to the cost of the asset? और फिर जो जूना rope है उसका carrying amount. Not don't say पूरा 11.17. See, the old rope is where it is. I'm sorry. Old rope is 2.83. That will not be derecognized. It will be derecognized based on the carrying value. Clear till here? So this is the way you have to write the answer. Always use the module language. It is always better to use some technical language rather than writing in own words. But of course, no options is there, then we will always go with own words, but use technical language. We come upon question number 2. Virtual company purchased a machine from Bharat Heavy Machines Limited on 30th September 2017 at a quoted price of 200 lakhs. GST on quoted price is 8%. The company incurred following additional expenses: transit insurance, transportation charges, special foundation, installation charges. The company borrowed 180 lakhs from State Finance Corporation at 16% interest per annum. The machine was ready for use on 31st March 2018. Assume 6 months to be substantially long period of time. Ascertain the cost of machinery. We have to find out what is the cost of machine. Okay. So what will be the cost of machine? So you can just have a solution to question number 2. Calculation of cost of machine. Little bit presentation is good, huh? Particulars. So what will come? Can I say purchase cost? Should I add GST or not? 8%. This 200 lakhs is there. Should I add GST? Yes or no?
The question is silent.
So you have to write a note. See, in exam you have to write a note. In absence of information, we have assumed that the GST credit will not be availed and hence it is added to the cost. Or you can write that in absence of information, we have assumed that GST credit will be availed and hence it is not included in the cost. Means it is depends. How much will be the 8%? 16 lakhs. Then will this be added? Transit insurance? Yes. Transportation charges? Yes. Special foundation? Yes. Installation? Yes. All these things will be added. You can just write down each of them. Then your 180 lakhs, will 180 lakhs be added? No, 180 lakhs will not be added, but interest on 180 lakhs. That how much interest on 180 lakhs? 16%. I am just writing it down. Add borrowing cost 180 lakhs into how much percent? 16%. For how many months? 6 months. So that will be added. You may just give me the total amount. I am not writing everything. You may just give me the total amount. What you got here. So those who are calculating can give us.
Sir, interest is 40 lakh 40,000.
14.40, na?
Yeah, 40,000.
All other expense will come out. Transport, transit, spatial foundation. I am not writing here, but all this expense will be there. So you just give me
11 lakhs.
how much? Total of everything. 241.4. Huh? And then write a note. Yeah, I hope everybody got it now. Yeah, so we proceed for the next question then. A company is engaged in manufacture of electronic products and systems. As per chief accountant, a prototype system was installed at one of the customer's location in June 2017 for getting acceptance on the performance of the system. The chief accountant has stated that as the ownership of the system installed for field trials was vested with the company for accounting and control purposes, the prototype system installed at customer's location in 2017 was capitalized in the accounts for the year 17-18 at its bought out cost, whether the accounting treatment adopted by the company is correct. Read once and tell me whether the accounting treatment is correct or not. Whether the accounting treatment is correct. Should I explain you the question? If we get acceptance, then it should be capitalized. Yes, dear boy. What is your thinking, sir? Same. Okay, let me explain your question and then I think your answer will be there. What has happened is we are manufacturing some electronic product and system. We are making some systems. A prototype system means some system we have developed like biometric attendance. So my company is making some system which is a biometric attendance of all those students who are coming to the classes. So at JK Shah classes I want to install this system. So of course JK sir says first let me have some trial system बरोबर है कि नहीं. It works on particular biometrics कि कोई भी अंगूठा मारेगा हो जाएगा, something like that. So I am installing at customer location. See, this is my customer JK Shah classes and I am installing that biometric system for getting acceptance on the performance. Okay, if this system works, JK sir will give me approval for it. Okay, yes sir, you can install across all our branches in India. Then the chief accountant states that the ownership of means मेरा जो accountant है वो बोलता है जो अपन ने उधर लगाया है JK Shah classes में डब्बा biometrics का उसका ownership अपने पास है. The ownership of the system installed for field trials, it is a trial run चल रहा है उधर, is vested with the company. Yes, he is very much correct. Who is the owner? It is not the JK Shah classes, but वो जो company का है वो owner है, बरोबर है. Is vested with the company for accounting and control purposes. The prototype system installed at customer location was capitalized in 17-18. बोलता है वो जो है उसको अपन अपना बुक्स में फिक्स असेट प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट इक्विपमेंट दिखाएगा, कंपनी वाला बोलता है. Is the accountant correct? This is what they ask. Is he correct? Answer is no. Because the moment he says it has been capitalized at bought out cost, it means he is treating it as a fixed asset, which is wrong. It is inventories. Because do you remember the definition of property plant equipment? There were three things. Property plant equipment are tangible items held for the purpose of use in the production or for providing goods or services or for rental basis or for administrative basis. Second, to be held for more than one period. And the last, what was the last area? Not held with an intention of sale, but use in the business. So don't you think here it is held with an intention of what? वो जो डब्बा लगाया है biometrics वाला, whatever it may be, I'm just giving you an example. It is held for what? Sale ना, खत्म हो गया. So it is not PPE. And if it is not PPE, how can I capitalize at bought out cost? So, how to answer this? See, in exam, see, you got the overall idea. Now, in exam, how to answer? So, in exam, you have to give two definitions. First, you have to define what is a property, plant, equipment. So, we have to write definition of property, plant, equipment. Write definition of property, plant, equipment and inventories. दोनों का definition लिखने का. Like what is inventories? Inventories are asset held for sale in ordinary course of business, asset in the process of production, raw materials and supplies. Both definition we have to write. So write definition of both of them. Once you write the definition, then relate it. In the given case, the company has installed a prototype system to get customers' approval. But obvious, this is nothing but goods sold on approval basis. It is goods sold on approval basis, na? And hence it is an item of inventory. So capitalizing the same is incorrect. Don't use the word wrong. Wrong is harsh. Use the word incorrect. So capitalizing the same is incorrect. This is how we give conclusion. So always remember, accounting standards questions with respect to your opinions are there. First write down the core idea of the standard. Then write down what is happening in the given case. In the given case, they have installed prototype system to get approval from the client. Yeah. Once you have written this, okay, it is installed for field trials. Of course, though the ownership is with us, it does not come under the ambit of property, plant, equipment because it is held for sale. It can be treated as items of inventory on approval basis, sold on approval basis. Clear? Okay. So this is your question number 3. A Limited purchased a plant, cost of 1 crore 50 lakhs, its expected life is 10 years, at the end of which it is expected to have a scrap value of 10 lakhs. The company followed written down value method of depreciation for first 3 years and decides to switch over to straight line method in the 4th year. What is the effect on income as a result of change in accounting policy? Now, as far as change is concerned, I think what can change for the asset? You can have change in the cost, change in useful life, to certain extent residual value, and lastly you can say the method of depreciation can change. Method of allocating cost, that is nothing but method of depreciation can change. Remember, whatever it may be, the change is always prospective. The change is always prospective, right from now. Change is always prospective. You would have studied somewhere in IPCC and CPT how to find out the amount of depreciation as far as SLM was concerned. So SLM, what was the way to find out the amount of depreciation? So you used to learn in this way. SLM depreciation is nothing but original cost minus estimated scrap value divided by estimated useful life. And you know, for WDV also you had a formula, but that formula was not for amount of depreciation, it was with respect to percentage of depreciation. Yeah? I am just writing it, percentage of depreciation as per WDV method. It was nothing but 1 minus nth scrap value divided by original cost. This is at the time of initial recognition if you are calculating depreciation. This is what you learned In CPT, basically majority of you would be from CPT background, so this is what you learned. But if change happens in the method of depreciation, so can I say my SLM formula will change to this way? Now my SLM depreciation will be, if it is revised, from WDV I am coming to SLM, then revised carrying cost minus revised scrap value, because anything can change, divided by revised balance useful life. Like I would have depreciated an asset on WDV method. Thereafter I say no, now I want to go for SLM method. So my formula will change, it will not go that way because it is prospective, not retrospective. I think somewhere in AS10, AS6, both Juna Jamana, it was retrospective. Please forget. There is nothing like retrospective, it is only prospective. Even if the method of depreciation is changing, it is prospective. आज से change करने का. अगर समझो shit. What would be revised percentage of depreciation as per WDV? Revised scrap value divided by revised carrying cost. Of course, what was N here? N is nothing but, revised. Remaining useful life or balance useful life. If there is a change, this is how we used to accommodate it. Calculation basis doesn't come nowadays exam, just for your understanding. Now, can I jump on to that question? One thing which you prospective means from today only this change will be applicable. That is nothing but prospective change. The change will be applicable from today itself. Okay, coming on this question again. A Limited purchased a plant for 1 crore 50 lakhs. It is expected life is 10 years, at the end of which expected to have a scrap value of 10 lakh. The company followed written down value method of depreciation for first 3 years and decided to switch over to straight line method in the 4th year. What is the effect of income as a result of change in accounting policy? Now, if you want, you can do calculations, I don't mind. First find out what is the rate of depreciation as per WDV method. I think it used to come at 14.86. वो formula use करना पड़ेगा. You can do it at your home. Log and anti-log. You remember on calculator? 12 times equal to square root equal to the same thing which you did in normal classes, the same thing. So it comes to some 14.86 depreciation, rate of depreciation. I am not exact idea. Now let me just give this way here. Say the original cost of an asset is 1 lakh. Just example for you. I am depreciating as per WDV method at the rate of 10%. So first year can I say 10,000? So I am left out with 90,000. Then again depreciation at the rate of 10% WDV, say 9,000. I am left out with 81,000. Second year again depreciation at the rate of 10%, say 8,100. Something like this. Yeah. Now, what do I mean by this? If I want to change from third year is over. आज से मैं बोलते हैं अभी मैं SLM मेथड में जाएगा. I want to go with SLM method. तो क्या हो जाएगा? कुछ नहीं, very simple. Don't write from the beginning. We'll say sir 72,900 minus जो भी scrap value रहेगा divided by balance useful life. Now because of this, do you think there will be any effect on my P&L? See, they are asking, what will be the effect on the income as a result of change in accounting policy? There will be no effect on the income because of change in accounting policy. Like now actually it is estimate. Earlier it was considered to be a policy. Now we say depreciation, change in method is also an estimate only. What will be, earlier what was there? It was retrospective. तो अगर retrospective होता था तो जो भी difference आता था SLM and WDV उसको अपन PL में लेके जाते थे. That stuff is not there under IND AS 16. There is nothing like retrospective, only prospective effect. So can I say there will be no effect in my profit and loss account due to change in the estimate of providing depreciation from WDV to SLM. Yeah. Moving on to the next question. Taking the same data as in problem, please make it 4. Above, assuming the company follows WDV method of depreciation, what would be the amount of depreciation to be charged in the 4th year if the life of the asset has been revised to 8 years instead of 10 years at the beginning of 4th year? I think the question goes in the same way. What will you do? First find out what is the balance of the asset after 4 years. 4 साल depreciation लगाने के बाद कितना आया? मेरे ख्याल से जो 14.86 depreciation rate था तो 1 crore 50 lakhs पे 14% वाला depreciation लगाते जाओ तो 4 years के बाद जो भी value आया उसको वापस formula में लगा दो, you will get the amount. Yeah. So I'm not going for all this problem solvings. Taking the data in problem number 24 above, what would be the depreciation charge in the 4th year if the company had been following, not 24, it's 4 only. What would be the depreciation charge in the 4th year if the company has been following straight line method? Yeah, I'll just make this, and this is 5. Now अभी तुम लोग क्या कर रहा है? Straight line method of depreciation लगा रहा है, मतलब कुछ नहीं. Can I say 1 crore 50 lakhs? This is orally, I can do it, that's why I'm doing it. Huh? Minus, what was the scrap value? 10 lakhs. So minus 10 lakhs divided by what was the original useful life? 10 years. So divided by 10 years. So what will be the amount of depreciation you would have charged every year? 14 lakhs would have been charged. Yes or no? हाँ, अभी 14 lakhs 4 साल तक चार्ज हुआ रहेगा. 14. So how much आया रहेगा बेटा? 54 lakhs depreciation गया रहेगा. 56 lakhs, I'm sorry. So can I say 1 crore 50 lakhs minus 56 lakhs? So the balance would be how much? 94 lakhs. अब 94 lakhs में ये लोग क्या बोल रहा है अभी? बोलते हैं now in the 4th year अपने को लगता है if the company has been following straight. Now instead of 10 years, earlier you thought it is 10 years, now it is only 8 years. It means the remaining useful life is 4 years only left. So what will be the new depreciation I have to charge? Can I say it will be nothing but 94 lakhs minus 10 lakhs divided by the remaining useful life 4 years. It's only for giving you an idea, not an examination point of view question. Yeah? Clear? So you have taken care of all your IND AS 16. Yeah? We go for a break then? Any doubts you would like to ask with respect to IND AS 16? Sure? Yeah. ठीक है. We resume at 2:15. Have a lunch break.